Hi, I'm Kristin Omdahl and welcome back to my studio. In this series of videos, I'm going to show you video tutorials for all of the projects in my newest book, 80 Handmade Gifts. In this book, you'll find projects for cooking, crocheting, knitting, sewing, and so much more for giving handmade gifts year-round. Let's get started. For this project, we'll be using Be So Fine yarn, which is 100% bamboo, fingering weight yarn. We'll also be using a size G6 or 4mm crochet hook. First, you're going to tie your yarn onto your crochet hook, and it does not matter how you like to tie your yarn to your hook. You can use a slip knot, a square knot, it does not matter. And then we'll start with a chain 5, which counts as a double crochet chain 2. So the first 3 chains count as our double crochet, and then the next 2 will count as a chain 2 space. We're going to double crochet into the 5th chain from our hook. The loop on the crochet hook does not count as a stitch, so we're going to count back from here: 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Double crochet is yarn over your hook, insert your hook in that specified spot, whether it's a stitch or a chain depending on the pattern, but for here it's that 5th chain from the hook. Yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2 loops on your hook. We're going to chain 2 and work another double crochet into that very same chain. And we'll repeat that again. Chain 2 and double crochet in that same chain space. Chain 2 and one more double crochet in that same chain space. Chain 2 and double crochet again in the same chain space. This is what the end of row 1 should look like. You should have 5 chain 2 spaces. Row 2 begins with a chain 5, which counts as a double crochet chain 2. We're going to turn our work, and now in that first chain 2 space we're going to work double crochet, chain 2, double crochet. In the next chain 2 space we're going to work double crochet, chain 2, double crochet. In the next chain 2 space, we're going to work double crochet, chain 2, 3 times, and then 1 more double crochet. And that's our center increase chain 2 space in the middle of the shawl. That's where we'll be increasing for the center corner of the triangle. In the next chain 2 space we're going to work double crochet, chain 2, double crochet. And in the last chain 2 space we're going to work double crochet, chain 2, double crochet, chain 2, and double crochet. And this is what the end of row 2 should look like. At the end of row 2 you should have 9 chain 2 spaces. Row 3 is the row that we will be repeating throughout for the remainder of the shawl until we get to the edging row. We start with a chain 5, which counts as a double crochet, chain 2, turn our work. In the first chain 2 space we'll work double crochet, chain 2, double crochet. Okay, in the next chain 2 space work double crochet, chain 2, double crochet. Okay, now notice there's a space here between 2 double crochets, but there is no chain 2 space. Keep in mind when you're looking for the chain 2 spaces, you're working into the space between 2 double crochets with a chain 2 space. It may look confusing sometimes that this could almost look like that, but notice that there is no chain between those 2 doubles. You want to make sure you're working in the chain 2 space between 2 doubles. So there'll always be a no space between 2 stitches and a chain 2 between 2 stitches. So make sure you pay attention to that. In the next chain 2 space, we're going to work double crochet, chain 2, double crochet, and we're going to repeat this step all the way until we get to the center chain 2 space in the middle of the shawl. And that will apply to any row, no matter how many repeats you have between the edges and that center chain 2 space. So now that we've come to our center chain 2 space, we're going to work double crochet, chain 2 3 times, and then a 4th double crochet in the same space. Then in the next chain 2 space, double crochet, chain 2, double crochet. And you want to repeat that all the way until the last chain 2 space. In the last chain 2 space, we work double crochet, chain 2, whoops, double crochet, chain 2, double crochet, chain 2, and double crochet. Okay, so no matter how long you make your shawl, you'll be repeating row 3, and you'll just have more repeats of the V-stitch or double crochet, chain 2, double crochet on the sides in between the small increase on the edges and the double increase in the center. On the final row of the shawl pattern, to create these scalloped edges, we do a spiked stitch in these specific spots, and what that means is that instead of working into the row previously worked into, you're going to work several rows down. And I can just briefly show you that on our swatch. I'll just single crochet across a couple of stitches so we're away from the edge. Let's see. Okay, so now pretending like this is our full-size shawl, instead of working into this next stitch, you would work several rows below and work your single crochet. So just insert your hook several rows below, pull up a loop, and then pull through 2 loops. And by tightening that stitch, you end up creating this cinching effect. And then if you're doing the optional beads, you would just slide the bead up to your crochet hook before doing that. And I'm going to turn this around so you could see it as it would be presented to you. So you'd be single crocheting along, and then you do that stitch several rows below as specified in the pattern. The pattern has both written instructions and charts for helping you through this pattern. In the following sequence, I'll show you some tips for styling this beautiful shawl. So I'm taking the shawl not all the way to the edge, but like about my shoulder width apart from the center of the shawl, and I'm pulling it up with my hands. This is how I like to cinch a shawl to be a scarf. So I cinched it from shoulder width, and you see we have that nice drape of the corner. Lily, it's all listed in the pattern. It's less than 1 pack, so you would only need to buy 1 pack of the beads on my website, but it's all listed on the pattern. And if you wanted to look at the resource page on my website for every project in the book, if you go to kristinomdahl.com/80handmadegifts and go to the crochet resource page, it'll show you exactly what you need to make this shawl too, including a link to those yarn ball beads. So you see what I did. I scrunched it all up, wrapped it in behind, and brought the 2 sides down. Look at how nicely they drape too. They kind of billow on themselves. So now this would be one way to wear it, and When I do this style, I love putting it under a jacket or a cardigan or a vest, because then you can start zhuzhing it around the collar too. So you can add more volume by playing around, whether you put these, yeah, I think it was 8, something like that, but they come in a pack of 10, but it's all there, so you just have to go read it, that's it. So I like the sleeves rolled up on the jacket, and then what you want to do is kind of pull this out from the jacket, right? It gives it a little more volume, because if you work with these edges of the jacket, and that goes with a cardigan too, you can add more volume to the scarf by popping it out of the jacket. You could do it in the back as well. So now I'll take this off and show you a couple other ways to wear it. Now if you have thick hair or thick beautiful braids or something like that, I think this would be really beautiful as a headscarf too. So I'm just going to show you briefly how it would look over hair and tied in the back. I just don't have a lot of hair, so this wouldn't be a look for me. But I think that you could even scrunch it like we did for that. Scrunch it like we did for the scarf look. I'm going to try. You can kind of get the idea of it. I really love the look of it. I just don't know if I can rock it. I just don't know. But this is the look. But if you have the kind of hair that this works with, or the style that this works with, there's something about headscarves that I absolutely love. One day I'll get around to, I can't do it yet. I couldn't leave the house like this yet. It's not me, but I love it. Actually, it looks cute in the mirror. So I'll show you the back. You would have to tie it more securely back here also. But let's say that you didn't have hair, this would be amazing. Let's say you had a ton of hair, this would be amazing. Very boho, yeah. And I love the fact that it makes me feel like my hair is longer in the front because it dangles down where my hair would be longer. So maybe I just need to figure out how to style my hair for it. I don't know. Maybe I'll get there. But if you are into that style, I think this is a beautiful candidate for doing headscarves. I love the look. Okay, so now you could also wear it around your waist like a sarong, and you could either tie it in the front like that, or you could tie it on the side. I like this look a lot. You know, do it on an angle a little bit, and I would do it below your waist, you know, and you could even blouse up your top underneath. And I feel like that's super cute too. I think the key is blousing up your top to make it look more like a drop-waisted top. I think that's cute. And then obviously all of the different ways that we like to style shawls. I should have brought a shawl pin with me this morning. Dang it, I even have one in the car too. But the car's not close. So you had a shawl pin on you. Look how pretty the stripes look when you match them up. If you put a shawl pin there, or even if you added a button to make this a capelet, I think it's a beautiful candidate for just making it a proper capelet. How cute are those stripes? You could put 2 buttons on it even. Put a button here and here, and then just keep it a capelet. I think it's so cute that way. Then if you wanted to do more traditional shawl styling, you could tie it. And you know where I'm going from here. When I tie a shawl, I always like to show it offset. I just think there's something so interesting about a shawl that's tied and worn offset like that. Super cute. I love the scalloping. I think that's so fun. And then what else? Oh, I was going to show you how to tie it as kind of like how we did for the scarf. But we're going to do it a little differently. In the scarf, the first scarf, we did it backwards and came back around. This time I'm going to pull it all up and just tie it over here. And this would be great under a jacket as well. And you could tie it a second time and just keep it kind of loose so it adds volume. and then it looks almost like a cowl, and you can do that by tying it a second time. Like, let's do it where you put it on the side. Oh, tassels would be great on this. And Be So Fine yarn makes beautiful tassels with a really sharp pair of scissors, because the ends turn out so nice and blunt. Yeah, the tassels would be fantastic on this shawl. And now, when I've tied it a second time that way, it looks more like a cowl. Isn't that cute? So I could even tie that a second time there, and we've got kind of a voluminous cowl Mobius thing working. I hope you enjoyed this video tutorial. Please give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, leave me a comment if you have any questions, and subscribe to my channel for more videos. Let us make time to create, share, and inspire today and every day. See you in the next video.